I'm Matt Smith. Right now on Upfront. Crisis in the courtroom, a backlog of cases, a shortage of attorneys. Milwaukee County's chief judge standing by, her plans, and the millions of federal funds meant to fix the problem. The state of Wisconsin politics, another Republican entering the race for governor, a tightening U.S. Senate Democratic primary, and Michael Gableman's election review extended. Charles Franklin is breaking it all down. And Ukrainian refugees fleeing their homeland, the Wisconsin school preparing to potentially welcome them, and the refugees already there.
Taking on the issues important to Wisconsin. This is Upfront with your host, Adrian Pedersen.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I'm Matt Smith. This weekend, a growing crisis in the courts, a backlog of criminal cases statewide, and it may be most evident in Milwaukee County. Recently, Governor Tony Evers announced more than $14 million in federal pandemic relief funds to address the problem in Milwaukee County alone. And just this past week, one of several examples, an attack back in November 2019 that received national attention. A Milwaukee man now convicted of throwing acid in another man's face and calling him illegal. A jury Thursday convicted Clifton Blackwell of a hate crime, but it took until now for the case to go to trial, delayed numerous times because of COVID-19 and a shortage of public defenders. Mary Trigiano is Milwaukee County's chief judge. She joins us from Milwaukee. Chief Judge, hey, really good to see you. Thanks for your time today.
Good morning, Matt. Thanks for having me.
So when we look at that case, just as a broader example, in your mind in Milwaukee County, how long is an appropriate amount of time for someone to wait to get to trial?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, we certainly have a lot of cases pending in Milwaukee County at this point in time because of the backlog. So we try to make sure that those cases, each judge works their cases up and tries to get them on as quickly as possible. But there certainly are barriers to getting them timely in the courts. You raised a couple issues right now, which is public defenders' inability to appoint counsel to make sure individual defendants are represented. So that puts cases, in a position to be bumped down the pike so that they can't be heard timely. But we try to do as many cases as we can in a timely manner.
Wisconsin State Public Defender Kelly Thompson was on the show just a few weeks ago, and she told us with a shortage of public defenders statewide, it's going to take several years to clear some 35,000 cases across the state. Where does the backlog sit this morning in Milwaukee County?
So Milwaukee County has a backlog of felony cases, about 1,665. That's our felonies. We have a misdemeanor backlog of approximately 2,400. That's actually down from the first of the year, so we're moving in the right direction. We believe with this allocation of ARPA monies and the creation of additional courts to deal with our felony and misdemeanor cases that we should be able to clear the backlog within 18 months. That is our plan. We're confident, we're optimistic that that's what we'll be able to do.
The pandemic, obviously a major factor in this, and with the backlog in the county as we look across the state. In Milwaukee County, who made the decision to essentially shut down the courts because of the pandemic?
Well, so back in 2020, I think everyone shut down, right? We didn't know what this pandemic was about, what it was going to do to us. So clearly we were concerned about the public health of the people in the courts and those coming into the courts for their cases, jurors, victims, defendants, and staff. So we shut down some of the courts. We didn't shut down completely. And immediately after we shut down some of the courts, we started looking at ways to bring us back up. We knew the backlog, any kind of backlog, is untenable and has consequences.
Hindsight, of course, being 2020. Would you have done anything differently looking back?
Interesting. I was asking myself the same thing. We had the best information possible at that time, and we made decisions based upon that information. So I can't say that I would have made any different decision.
Let's talk about this $14 million in federal funds that the governor allocated recently to help with the backlog. Do you have this money in your checkbook, so to speak, and what progress is being made?
Sure. The county and the state are currently working on an MOU as to how those monies will be actually distributed within the county and the state. But they have indicated to us, and we are planning as if we have the money in our bank account. So we have been moving forward by June, and we're almost into May, by June, we should already be phasing in additional courts to handle some of the backlog. We're working to problem solve on a daily basis like we did back in 2020. We've not stopped, so we will continue to forge ahead.
And you're looking to add up to 5 additional courts from your previous comments. How realistic is that still, and what challenges are you facing in terms of just of logistics and people and getting that up and running?
Yeah, so if you've ever been in a court, Matt, and I know you've probably covered court cases, if you look at the constellation of people within that court, you have the judge, you have the judge's deputy court clerk, you have a court reporter, then you have the prosecutor, the public defender, you have witnesses, you may have a jury. All of those things have to come together to create an additional court to be able to handle part of the backlog. All of the partner agencies are working very, very hard to staff up so that we can do that. There are a lot of hurdles, but we're confident, and I'm optimistic based upon everything we've been able to accomplish over the last 2 years that we will pull this off and we will do well.
I know you won't discuss current pending cases, but broadly speaking, especially if you look after the Waukesha Parade case, how concerned are you when we look at the backlog that someone else may slip through the cracks, whether it be a low bail amount or what have you, and has anything changed?
Sure, and I appreciate the question, Matt. First and foremost, the backlog is really untenable and it has consequences. We know that. But we work with the Community Justice Council, which includes all the players, all the criminal justice system players, to make sure we are problem solving and looking at everything we do in every part of the system to make sure it's healthy and to make sure it's working appropriately. So we've done that, and we will continue to do that. Defendants deserve a fair, equitable, and timely resolution of their case. They deserve due process. Victims deserve the same. So we all want a healthy court system that's able to process cases in a significantly timely manner so that we don't have unintended consequences. That's what we've been working at aggressively and collaboratively for the past 2 years. We'll continue to do that.
A really important conversation. Milwaukee County Chief Judge Mary Trigiano. Chief Judge, thank you for your time and your perspective today.
Thank you, Matt. Appreciate it.
Coming up, Battleground Wisconsin, the pulse of the state, confidence in our elections, and the midterms just months away.